Welcome to another episode of Don't Get Cancer, where cancer is more than a bumper sticker, more than a hashtag, and we come together through pain and loss. Well, today we're going to talk about, it's pretty interesting, I think. I call it the graveyard social network. And it's pretty much like a social network, but in real life for people in a graveyard, like the living people in the graveyard that go and visit. It's a whole little world in there. And I'm speaking from what I've seen. I have not spent as much time in the graveyard visiting my pops as much as my mom has, but I'm speaking on my mom's experiences. And so she, her quote was, "It's perfect strangers with an instant connection." It's just one of those things where you gotta, you have to have been through it to know what's going on. But I'm serious. Like they have the times that they go. The big thing apparently, the friend requests, if you will, the follow. You approach somebody and you go, "Who's your person? Like, who's your person that is buried here?" And people give you their story, then you give them your story, and this bond gets formed on that, and you end up seeing each other. Everyone has their routine, apparently, that certain people go on certain days, certain times, and my mom's talking to so-and-so, and then so-and-so else comes by. "Oh, hey, da-da-da." Like, it's this just interesting community coming together through pain and loss. And my mom tells me just like really, really strong bonds have been made there. And I would say a little bit of an older crowd. I don't think the younger crowd is there as much. It's more of probably mid 40s and up. But other than that, I mean, it spans every demographic. And the crazy thing too is, so my mom, obviously, she visits my pops all the time. So she has her network within that graveyard. But then she also has another graveyard that she goes to closer to her house, that she goes to walk and see. It's like near a river. There's like really pretty views and all that. So she goes, but she also has a network there. And it's pretty much like group therapy for all of them. And I'm really big on that type of therapy. I'm not a huge believer or fan of, you go to some shrink and talk about your problems, and it's some college kid that's never had a bad day in their life getting paid buku dollars, and they go tell you to stare at a tree or something. But hey, I'm not trying to totally down that. If that's what works for you, that's what works for you. But definitely I'm a much bigger fan of real life therapy. And I know it definitely it works wonders for my mom, and I'm sure it works wonders for these other people. Especially there's times where my mom, hasn't really been doesn't really want to communicate with, anybody else, but it's still down for the graveyard community. So it's really this big, just family. And yeah, I never would have thought, but it's good. People need to get into reality. A lot of we spend a lot of time on social media, getting lost in the sauce, doom scrolling, but to really come together with like-minded individuals and just ease and share that pain with each other. And like I said, I haven't spent as much time visiting my pops. I always, until I lost my pops, I don't know. I thought I don't know what I thought. I don't know how to describe it. Going to oh, you're going to spend time in the graveyard. Because I'm not religious, but I do believe in energy transfer. But just, I don't know. It was weird. It just seemed like this make-believe task. I got to go visit my dead person. But obviously once my pops died, it made a lot more sense. And for me, like I said, I'm not religious. It's more of an energy transfer, I don't think he's roaming around in heaven or stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of our consciousness is very intricate. It's very interesting. That's our internal energy. And as our bodies fade and dissipate back into the elements, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. So that energy is transferring somewhere. So there's times where I'm like, man, I'm down. I'm having a bad day. I need some hype or whatever. I'll pull up on Pops and just hang out for a few minutes and try to really align with whatever realm that energy is in, or connect to that realm, or just try to feel the energy. Yeah, I know I'm sounding crazy at this point, but that's my take on it. But as far as, getting to the graveyard and hanging out, I haven't really done the social connections. But I will say, this past Father's Day, me and my brother went with some of my brother's friends who are in turn also my friends. I grew up with those cats. James McNeil, Joe Genesio, Cubo. We pulled up. And Cubo's a buddy. I'm mentioning him, but I didn't know him, but they all did. But he was cool. I don't want him to feel left out. But yeah, it was we pulled up and we're working middle class, man. We pulled up and we just hung out and drank. And it was Father's Day, and yeah, we're drinking in public technically, but nobody's even batting an eye. Nobody's looking at us weird, because it's just, that's your custom. That's your person. That's your energy. That's your world. Nobody's gonna, I'm sure the punk police would probably try to, if they knew about it, they might try to say something, and that would just, whatever. What can you do at that point? Technically it's breaking a rule, but I would hope they would leave people alone. My brother was driving, so nobody's drinking and driving. But yeah, we're there doing our thing and chilling and feeling the energy, and it's cool, man. So I guess I have experienced the graveyard camaraderie in that sense. Because like I said, people were walking by, we'd wave at them, they'd wave at us, and they weren't just oh, these young punks, because we have a story. We're there for a reason. And, And that's what we were doing. But, there's, and going back to the whole visiting the graveyard, honestly, like, I know my mom looks forward to seeing her people and circle in the social graveyard circle. But for me, I didn't really, like, every time I pull up, I'm like, man, I hope there's nobody here. I just want to, like, come in for a few minutes, do my thing. So I'm kind of like the opposite. And everybody goes for, like, different reasons. Like I said, I would go if I needed to try to, like, get some energy and tap in with Pops and get some of that energy. And obviously, like, missing your Pops or missing your person. And it's always been kind of morbidly interesting to me that, that's where he is. Like, he's, well, where the energy is, it's transferring from there, but the vessel is literally there. It's 6 feet below the dirt under your feet. So it's just a weird, morbidly curiosity feeling, I guess. And like I said, people, I'm sure everybody has their own reasons for going or not going, or the amounts of times they go. The crazy thing, I remember one time I went, and I think it was either like right after work or right before work. I can't remember. It was early in the morning. I was either working a late shift or going in for the morning shift. And I'm not making this up, man. I remember it was like somewhat dark. I remember going to get back in my truck. And I was like, whoa. Like, somebody's pulling up on me. Someone's smoking a cigar. Like, jeez, that thing is strong. Like, who's coming up to say something to me? I look behind me, look around. Nobody. I'm like, what? I get up in my whip, and it's like, dude, the smell was so potent. I don't smoke cigars. Nobody smokes in my whip. And yeah, man, and obviously that's a sign of, if you believe in ghosts or energy transfers or whatever you want to call it, that's a sign of your loved one, like, showing you they're there. And the fact that I was at his gravestone, just so distinctly smelling us, because he would smoke, he'd go to Calabash and smoke a cigar every Thursday night. That was his thing. And it was so strong, man. Honestly, it was spooky. It kind of rattled me a little bit, like, in a good way, but it definitely rattled me. It wasn't like faint either. It wasn't like, oh man, that was in my head. Nah. It was very strong. Anytime you get a sign, whether it's good or bad, that's strong. It can be a little spooky. But once I settled down a little bit, I was like, man, that's cool. I know that's my graveyard connection. That's kind of what I use it for, what I go for. And yeah, recently I went, if you know me, Blink-182 is a huge part of my life, always has been. The connections with Pops. Like, I remember him taking me to go get the albums and whatnot. But Blink finally returned to their true selves. Tom's back. And the album was incredible. And I just, I'm listening to it. I'm like, wow, I wonder which songs, like, Pops would like. And I was like, okay, I think I know. So yeah, like, I pulled up and I played a few of the songs. I just sat in my truck and played some of the songs that I thought he would like, and got out, talked to him, myself, whatever you want to call it, grabbed some energy, and and I rolled out. That's how I use the graveyard. Again, I'm not into the the whole social aspect of the hanging in the graveyard, but I'm the opposite. But there is a whole social network up in the graveyard, and I wanted to shine some light on that. If you've, maybe you people know this, maybe it's not as hidden of a fact than I thought it was, but yeah, just wanted to put it out there. Talk about, again, everybody's got their reasons for visiting, and wanted to share mine. So again, if you've made it this far, thank you for tuning in, and keep rocking with me, and we'll keep doing this thing.